Welcome to Elite Expert Insider Podcast, where we will inspire, motivate, and educate entrepreneurs, innovators, and growth seekers. Brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, making the best and brightest in the industry #1 best-selling authors. 80% of people say they want to write a book. We're assuming that's the same for you. If so, contact us at www.eliteonlinepublishing.com and make your book a reality. Hey, welcome to another fabulous podcast. We're so glad to have you here. This is Melanie Johnson along with my partner, Jenn Foster. Hey, Jenn.
Hey, everyone.
So we have an incredible show. We have one of the people that I admire so much in business. I've known her, I don't want to say how many years, but it's over 20, okay? I know I'm dating myself. And when I owned the TV stations way back when, she was the first person that believed enough in us to advertise on our stations. And she's just been a great friend, a super mentor. So we're going to learn some incredible things. She owns an advertising agency. So think about it. She's a woman who started an advertising agency over 20 years ago and has stood the test of time. She's going to give us her inside secrets of what makes that work and what's making that work today versus then. But first, remember, I want you to subscribe to our podcast if you haven't done that already, because then you get to know who's coming on, when it's coming on, and you learn a lot of great stuff. And leave us a comment because we'd love to hear from you. So Brenda Love is our guest today. Brenda, you always make me laugh. I have so much fun with you, and you just inspire me every day. Welcome to our show.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Melanie. And it's been longer than 20 years.
I know. I didn't want to say it was closer to 30 because we're not that old, right?
Awesome. Well, Brenda, tell us a little bit about how you got into the advertising industry and how you got started in this.
Well, I studied it in school. I did my undergrad in journalism, but my master's in advertising and PR, and came back to Houston. Went to work for an ad agency that my daughter said could be a sitcom because it was owned by a man who used to be a DJ when DJs were, really hot. So from there, branched out on my own, literally quit my job one day and started the agency the next. Needed a name, hence I didn't have a lot of time to think about it. So Love was my last name. And I thought, okay, there's a good name. Let's go forward.
Wow. But you were so gutsy to do that. I mean, think about that. You just left your job. I mean, women didn't do that then 30 years ago.
Well, actually, we had our 40th anniversary in August.
Oh, my gosh.
40 years.
That's awesome.
Women also didn't do the job that I did. Mm-hmm. So as I went out to try to get a new job, that was not going to happen. The former DJ Wildman was crazy enough to hire me, I guess, in the account service, and very few women really had that position, at least in Houston. So as I tried to get a new job, I interviewed around, and the economy was good, so it wasn't that. And I realized it was not going to be easily done. And so one day, I did have a very key man that I was interviewing with, and he said, "Have you ever thought about going to business for yourself?" I said, "Well, I thought about it, but I thought I need more experience." He said, "I think you can do it." And I literally never looked back. I quit my job, started the company the next day.
Wow, that's awesome. It's just kind of like throw that fear behind you and just go for it.
Well, I mean, my first paycheck ever with this man bounced. So I waited till payday, quit my job, cashed my check for cash, put it in the bank account, and then started the company.
How did you get your first client? So what was your attack? I mean, I think whatever you did would still work today to try and get, you're starting a new business and try and get, your first client to believe in you, that you have enough expertise to work with them.
Well, fortunately, I also, in addition to handling accounts, I did new business. So I sort of knew how to do that. And we had a couple of accounts, quite frankly, that had never met anybody at the agency but me. So I drove out there that morning and talked to a couple of them, and they interviewed both of us back and forth, and several of them picked me. So I didn't really have to start totally from scratch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So just kind of piggyback on that.
Some people that had some faith in me. One was called, his name was Mort Hall. He was a car dealer here, a large Ford dealer, actually, one of the biggest ones in the country at the time. And he was really the first one that said, yes. And I never forgot him. He was a terrific man. He was a big believer in young people. And so mentors help.
Wow. Mm-hmm. It's so true. So true. So think about, I mean, advertising has changed so much
Oh, yes.
What do you attribute being able to stay in business for 40 years, Brenda? I mean, some people, they say most businesses, especially women-owned businesses, they don't last more than 5 years and they don't make more than $100,000. So I think about your success has been tremendous. What do you attribute that to?
Wow. You know, I didn't know enough about it to know I couldn't do it. And I think, you know, I should count up all the presidents that have been in office since it's not about politics. It's not about economy, although that can hurt you from time to time, that's for sure. It's this, you put on your blinders no matter what, and you just keep going. And you don't let people tell you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can make it work. You can just just perseverance, I guess. And it's amazing because the attrition rate for advertising agencies when I went into business was 25% a year.
Wow.
Gone. And I look back on all the ones that were in business then in Houston and now, and there's just a couple of us left. I mean, there really are. All the big ones are gone, and it's been an amazing journey.
Wow. So it sounds like you have just a positive mental attitude all the time. How do you keep that? Like you said, put your blinders on and just go forward and just know you can do it. But what happens when you start to get those little, those thoughts
Well,
like,
I mean,
can I do this?
Let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
I was a single working mother. So I had to support a child, and that was really big motivation.
Right.
And I think it just got so ingrained and instilled in me. I don't know how not to do it.
Right.
And it is it's a big plus. My father was an entrepreneur, and I think I may have gotten some of that from him. I saw him times. And, just know that it's not going to stay tough forever.
Right.
It's not going to stay good forever, and it's not going to stay bad forever.
Right.
So you've got to figure out how to weather the storm.
Yeah, that's the same as Melanie and I. I'm a single mom. Melanie's a single mom. Yep. And it is almost like we have no other choice. We just got to go for it and do it. And no looking back, right? You just do it.
Just do it. And, I think decision making with age and experience gets easier. You have to make decisions quickly when you're an entrepreneur. And the moment of absolute certainty never arrives. Never. You do the best you can, and you live with it, and be able to say, wow, I made a mistake. So what? Pick yourself up and keep going.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Even like when the economy was bad, I mean, you've lived through several roles in the economy.
Yeah. Which time?
So tell us, how has it changed? How have you kept up with the changing market? I mean, for a long time, advertising was really TV, radio, magazine, print. It was very limited in the amount of things they have to do. Now, I mean, I feel like as a small business owner, I'm on overwhelm. I feel like we have to be everywhere and advertising everywhere and getting the word out. How do you go through that, all that minutia with your clients of where they should be and keeping up with technology?
Well, we use technology to keep up, but keep in mind, radio, TV, outdoor, print, direct mail, those aren't dead. Those are still here and very viable resources. Now, the digital world has given us tremendous amount of information and data to help us be more successful, even in those mediums. In addition to that, it's given us a lot of resources, especially for people that don't have a big budget. You can enter the digital world, and they work in concert with each other. So over-reliance on a single medium, i.e. whether it's digital or outdoor or TV or radio or what, has never been anything that we recommend. We do have a proprietary channel planning tool, we call it. And so the various channels of these various mediums, we get a lot of data from our clients, and we input it into the channel planning tool along with budgets and targets and everything we're trying to do. It's no longer just what's your target market, how old are they, what gender are they. It's a whole new ball of wax. Lots more questions, a lot more information that we can input into this tool, and it will spit out a recommended plan. And then we can play with it. See, well, what if we did do this? And what if we had more money here? Or what if we, lots of variables that we can put in. So that really helps us a lot. And that all came from technology. That all came from the digital world. I used to laugh and say, I'd point to the computer when it first came out, truly. And I'd say, look at that thing. it wants to be a television. But what it is in the beginning, what it was in the beginning, was a newspaper
Right.
with information, right? It didn't have video capability, but it wants to be a TV, and one day it will be. And so it acts as a TV. But we also have OTT, over-the-top television. Your smart TVs give us so much information about you. And so we can collect that data and find out if you watched that commercial and then you went online, or then you made a phone call, or you did whatever you did. We can measure from the call centers to the television. We can't measure radio like that or outdoor, but just pretty much all the other mediums we can.
Yeah.
Called a data analytics platform. Big word.
Yeah. Well, and with all that data, you can really hone in on who your target audience is and how you can market to them the right way, instead of wasting the money and putting it in places where you shouldn't. Or
Yes. And wasting the money is a big key today.
Yeah.
Today, and the digital world really started this because we could get a lot of information about whether or not you clicked, for instance, on something, or you visited a website. We still can. We get a lot more than that. But those are called Vanity Metrics, and we don't use those. We don't recommend those anymore. We really recommend a more serious measurement for ROI, and our clients do too. And that is, how many leads did we generate? How many sales came as a result of this? And no longer just, they clicked and they read and then they went away. Well, where did they go? So,
Right.
That's so interesting. So a small business starting out, we use that with our book metrics. So very similar. We have software that we go through to make people bestsellers, and it's not just a shot in the dark.
Sure.
So when a small company comes to you with a limited amount of budget, like most entrepreneurs, you're trying to figure out who your audience is and you're shooting in the dark. So really having an advertising agency behind you that has all this information and data can be much more helpful.
Yes, absolutely. And it allows us to be profitable on small accounts. No longer do you have to have an account that's spending $1 million. They can spend far less and get good results because we can get very narrow focused on who they're trying to reach and what they're trying to say and do.
So what's a good budget for a small company that's starting out? Because so many people are entrepreneurs. I mean, you've got, my kids are teenagers and they're all looking at going into business for themselves. And so what is a good budget for someone coming out and brand new in business?
That's hard, Melanie. That's really hard to say. I mean, and again, the tools that you have, just a minute ago, I was thinking, if only I'd had QuickBooks when I started my business. I had to do everything by hand, all the old fashioned way. I started my company with $500, literally, back then. So I think you could start a company with little or nothing, depending on what it is and the difficulty. I mean, if it's something that requires, I inventory people, brains, right?
Yeah.
But if you inventory a product or a widget or something has to be manufactured, then you're going to have a lot more money. So it depends on what your business is, what you're selling.
And what do you feel about influencers, for advertising with influencers?
That's changed a lot too. It used to be, we want the one with the most followers and a zillion fans and what have you. But people are becoming more and more leery about that because they know those influencers are getting paid and paid a lot. So do they really recommend this or not? I think it depends on the influencer and their background and what they did originally. If it's an actor or an actress, maybe, but if it's yes, I really have credibility about knowing about this product and why. I was a beauty expert in Style Magazine for X number of years. I know beauty and I know beauty products. To me, that's more credibility. I think some of the smaller ones that are actually a lot less expensive have a smaller following and seem to be more altruistic with their audiences and have a lot more credibility. So you don't necessarily have to go with the great big ones. Just have to go with the ones that have credibility.
Right. Well, and that makes a lot of sense too, because if you have someone who's really focused in on one little niche, but they don't have that many followers, but they are the expert and they're honed in on that lipstick or whatever they're doing,
Exactly.
then that's the key right there.
Yeah. So Brenda, tell us a little bit about the hiring process nowadays. I mean, there's all this stuff. You and I talked before we got on the interview about millennials, baby boomers, Gen X. So when you're looking to hire people, and you know, Jen and I'm over 50. So for me to go, I mean, thank God I work for myself, but I have women friends and men friends are like, I just can't even get a job. I'm over 50. They want all the young people. So tell us a little bit about what you look to, not necessarily your company, but you know, the difference in generations and how they view things maybe in the advertising world.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of young people that come out of school and think they want to be in advertising. I always say, give me 3 years and you'll know whether this is for you or not. But advertising is a really good foundation for anything, and marketing for anything you go into. Every company needs to market themselves, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's not something you do forever, we can give you a good solid foundation that you will use, a tool you will use. Interviewing is a process that's, you know, it has changed, but to me, I try to get to know the person.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. It's not just about what's on the piece of paper.
Yeah.
For younger ones, I really do recommend internships when they're in college. If they get out of college and they haven't had a good internship, be willing to be an intern. Get that experience.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are coming out of college these days with a lot of experience. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
And I think millennials get a bad rap in today's world. You know, they think, oh, they don't want to work, or they think this, or they think that. Here's what I think about them. I think that we all wish that we had their values. I mean, our generation is a lot more materialistic. These young people don't care. If they buy a house, that's great, but they're happy to rent because, you know, taxes are so expensive on a house. Mm-hmm. They are happier with a lot less, but that doesn't make them less motivated. They want to be passionate about what they do, and when they are, they will work their tails off. And guess what, people? They're smart. So you're competing sometimes with a millennial that's extremely smart. If you're 55 years old and trying to get a job and you're used to making a whole lot more money than they are, you better learn how to relate to the millennials and keep them happy.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great advice.
Yeah. My son the other day was telling me I had him get an internship when he was a junior in high school because he was thinking about being an engineer. And he goes, Mom, they just told me at college, like, I can't believe you worked at a civil engineering firm already. Like, how did you do that? And, you know, so think about, you know, these young kids. It's like, it's nice to have a job if you're going to work at, you know, a retail store or something like that, but think about the bigger picture of how you can get real life experience in the career that you want to go to. Because sometimes you may decide, oh, now that I work there, it's really not for me. I want to do something else.
That's real important to mention, I think, Melanie. It's a great point. You learn about what you like, but you also learn about what you don't like.
Exactly.
But it still looks good on paper, you know, that you dabbled around. You kind of know a general direction, I think, when you're in college, or you should.
Yeah.
But internships are a way of finding out what that real direction should be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for all your insight today. You are fantastic.
Oh, you're welcome. This was fun.
Yeah. Tell us where people can go to find out more about you and about your company.
Oh, okay. Well, it's pretty simple. Last name is Love, and we're Love Advertising. So you abbreviate the word advertising. So it's loveadv.com. And we're in Houston, Texas, and we'd love to hear from you.
She does an outstanding job. So even if you're not in Houston, Texas, she can do an outstanding job for you too.
Absolutely. That's true. Business doesn't just come from Houston anymore. It's coming from everywhere.
It's so true. I tell people we have authors all over the country. They're like, is there a big demand for publishing in Houston? I said, honestly, 80% of our clients are all over the country. And we have clients that we've never met in person. We've just met them over Zoom video, and some not even that. So yeah, it's changed the whole world market. So if that brings up another point, if you're looking to write a book and become a published author and use your book for credibility in the marketplace and use it as an advertising and marketing tool, then get in touch with us at Elite Online Publishing. And in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to our podcast, and we'll see you next time. If you'd like to create the most powerful advertising tool for your business, contact us at eliteonlinepublishing.com, where we will help you create, publish, and make your book a #1 bestseller and show you how to get new leads and more revenue for your business. If you'd like to check us out on our Facebook page, we have a free book for you as our gift. Just go and click free book. Remember to subscribe and leave a comment for our podcast. We would love to hear from you.